In an attempt to secure his freedom, a convicted getaway driver joins a prison death race where the vehicles are modified killing machines. In the future, private corporations take over all federal correctional facilities, running them for profit. One of these facilities is the Terminal Island Penitentiary, now owned by the Wayland Corporation. Terminal Island is home to the most brutal and aggressive felons in the state. One day, as everyone goes through their daily routines, Xander Gray, 14K, and Big Bill incite a brawl, leading to multiple casualties. As the intense riot continues, September Jones records a news report with her cameraman, claiming that the authorities have done nothing about it. Meanwhile, Medford Parks, the warden, instructs his men to pacify the inmates. While the guards enter the field in full riot gear, Jones threatens someone over the phone, demanding that he patch her on live or she'll tell his wife about their affair. Meanwhile, the fight has gotten out of control, so Parks sends out a chopper to shoot the inmates down. This proves effective as everyone suddenly stops in fear of getting shot. Soon after, the inmates fall in line and make their way back into their cells. Elsewhere, Carl Luke Lucas strikes up a deal with his crime boss, Marcus Kane. The older man wants him to rob a bank and he sends his rookie nephew with him. To aid his mission, the man gives Luke a yellow Ford Mustang, claiming that the more he stands out, the less suspicious he'll appear. Concurrently, Jones accompanies Parks to meet with Mr. Wayland, the owner of Terminal Island. Wayland is alarmed because the recent fight has caused him a public relations dilemma. However, Jones thinks that his network shares aren't his primary money makers, and he doesn't even realize that he can profit from the prison fights. The two men are puzzled, so Jones explains that the inmates can be a subject of entertainment, which will then lead to a vast sum of money. This sparks Wayland's interest, allowing Jones to pitch a brilliant idea. Meanwhile, Luke and his men commence with the heist, along with Marcus's nephew, Vinny. As the getaway driver, Luke stays in the car as a lookout, but he soon notices the police parking in front of him. He urges Vinny to abort the mission, but he remains steadfast, leaving the driver with no choice but to get the man himself. As soon as he enters, the bank robbery is already in progress. The police attempt to shoot Vinny and the others, but Luke beats them up. Enraged, he screams at his boss's nephew for his insolence, then tells the team to leave. However, a guard shoots and kills Terry, one of Luke's men, causing him to retaliate. He unintentionally kills the guard, and the act stuns him, as he's never done such a thing before. Eventually, everyone gets back in the car and Luke navigates through the streets. Panicked, Vinny drops a few grenades at the trailing police cars, so the angry driver dumps him and another accomplice by the side of the road so they don't get caught. Elsewhere, Marcus watches the news and discovers that the police are chasing his team. Anxious, he grabs the TV and smashes it on the table. Meanwhile, Luke reaches a dead end, ultimately leading to his capture. 6 months later, the man is transported to Terminal Island along with some new prisoners. Worried that the driver might tell the authorities about his involvement with the robbery, Marcus orders his men to kill Luke. Meanwhile, the prisoner discovers the inner workings of Terminal Island. There, Wayland supports Jones's idea of deathmatch, a televised pay-per-view competition where inmates fight to the death. Lists, one of the new inmates, explains to Luke that Jones used to be a former Miss Universe who was stripped of her title after it was revealed that she slept with all 5 judges. Now she's the host and executive producer of the show. He further reveals that the most formidable fighters in the competition are Big Bill and 14K. Subsequently, the much-anticipated fight commences, featuring Xander Grady and the renowned 14K. Prior to the match, the rules are clarified. Each contender is allotted 10 seconds to choose their weapons. If neither of them emerges victorious, both of them will be executed. Finally, the match begins and Xander gains the upper hand. Meanwhile, Jones intentionally rigs the match to make it more entertaining because their market shares are declining. Back in the arena, 14K retaliates, beating his opponent to a pulp until he can no longer get up. The man refuses to concede, so the victor prepares to deliver a final blow. However, he explains that Xander quit, causing the show's ratings to plummet. Meanwhile, Luke catches the attention of Katrina Banks, a convict who serves as a ring girl. However, he chooses to ignore her. Following the fight, Jones grows increasingly furious due to the consecutive instances of fighters surrendering. She confronts 14K and delivers a stern warning about the repercussions of his actions. On that same night, Wayland approaches Jones and issues a threat to get her to address the show's ratings. The next day, Lists rambles on about 14K's background, saying that he's the leader of the triad. He explains that there's a consequence for anyone who spills the blood of a triad member, and this explains why Xander was nearly killed, as he had taken the life of a triad member in his previous match. However, Luke is barely interested in his stories. As he sits alone, Goldberg and Rocco join him, informing him that he's been assigned to their work detail. The three have fun conversing, but Parks suddenly summons Luke. Parks tells him about how stupid he is for turning down the chance at freedom in exchange for testifying against Marcus. However, his life is at risk because the crime boss can hire anyone to take him down. Later on, Luke joins Goldberg and Rocco in dismantling cars to turn them into weapons for the government. Suddenly, the convict asks about the car's performance, performance, so Goldberg tosses him the keys for him to find out. Happy to have the opportunity to drive again, Luke hops in and showcases his driving skills. Unbeknownst to him, Jones sees him on the track. Later, Big Bill randomly stirs up a fight against the stoic prisoner and almost stabs him with a sharpened toothbrush. A scuffle ensues, but Luke overpowers Big Bill. When the situation dies down, Jones, who witnessed what transpired, speaks to the head guard. That night, she waits for Parks in his office, informing him that he's putting Luke on the show. However, the warden reasons that putting him in the spotlight can get him killed because Marcus will know where he is. Jones remains unbothered, justifying that it's the prisoner's problem. The following day, she approaches the man while he's taking a shower. While seducing him into agreeing to the fight, she promises to make his life tolerable with tempting perks. He pretends to concede, but ultimately refuses. That night, the woman selects random fighters to put in the arena. She puts Big Bill against the measly lists. Fearing for his friend, Luke says that he'll fight in his place, but she ignores his plea. The fight begins and List gets beaten up badly. Unable to stop himself, Luke scales the fence and intervenes in the brawl. He struggles to gain momentum, so Katrina helps him by hitting Big Bill when he gets close to the fence. Things escalate further when Big Bill acquires a flamethrower from the armory within the arena. To make the show more interesting, Jones rigs the match, giving Luke access to the armory. He takes another flamethrower and returns to the fight, leading Big Bill's supporters to think that his opponent is cheating. As the match goes on, the inmates start a fight of their own. Soon after, they break into the arena, causing an uncontrollable riot. Witnessing this, Parks commands Jones's crew to end the broadcast, much to her annoyance. Back in the arena, Luke overpowers Big Bill and tells him to stop fighting or he'll kill him. Soon after, he surrenders to the authorities. However, Marcus discovers that he's still alive after watching the show, further angering him. Later that night, the driver's injuries are mended in the prison hospital. Elsewhere, the warden tells Jones that she can no longer host deathmatch in his prison. Meanwhile, Luke runs into Katrina on his way out, and he thanks her for helping him. However, they never learn each other's names because the female inmate's bus is already waiting outside. The following day, Marcus shoots one of the men whom he assigned to kill Luke. He then gathers a bunch of thugs, offering them $1 million if they kill Luke within 2 days. However, if they fail, he'll have them killed. Following a threat to expose Wayland's exploitation of her, Jones seizes an opportunity to present a new show concept. She introduces a race-themed show within Terminal Island, wherein the cars will be modified with weapons. However, precautions will be made so the racers can only shoot people on the track. Wayland thinks it's a great idea, but they need an interesting prize to keep the audiences hooked. So he proposes that whoever wins the race 5 times will earn their freedom, no matter what their crimes are. He also suggests a new name for the show, Death Race. Soon, the 3-day race finally comes to life. On the first day, Jones gathers 18 inmates for the race, and they must survive all 3 laps to proceed to day 2. However, there are only 9 cars, so everyone fights their way to claim one of the vehicles. To their surprise, there are already female inmates in the car as their designated navigators. Meanwhile, Luke finally claims the car, which, to his surprise, is to be navigated by Katrina. She then equips him with an earpiece, which connects him to his pit crew that's composed of Lists, Rocco, and Goldberg. Although the race has only begun, Luke is already on Big Bill's radar. However, he utilizes his driving skills and easily speeds off, leaving his pursuer enraged. As the race continues, the other racers, including Xander Grady, 14K, and Kaylin, are also eager to win. Soon, the second lap begins, and the sword plates, which unlock certain power-ups, such as weapons, are finally activated. The pit crew urges Luke to obtain one, but another racer named Hilly Billy beats him to it. The opponent then showers his car with bullets. However, the talented driver speeds off into a curve without warning, causing Hilly Billy to drive onto a ramp and fall to his death. Meanwhile, the racers Scarface and Sheik manage to earn their own perks, but they soon fall victim to Big Bill. Sheik barely makes it out alive when Big Bill opens fire on their cars. However, Scarface isn't so fortunate as his car tumbles and explodes. Moments later, Big Bill pursues Luke, claiming that the $1 million is his. Jones, who hears this, replays the footage and tells the chief to look into the matter. Concurrently, a racer known as Apache leaps onto Sheik's car, making his navigator take the wheel. He then fatally stabs the unaware driver in the neck, killing him and leading his car to crash and burn. With one remaining lap, Big Bill continues pursuing Luke, but the latter has had enough. He quickly speeds off and drives over the sword plate, granting him ammunition. However, he uses the wrong switch, causing the tombstone to fall in Big Bill's path, but he swerves just in time and saves himself from any damage. Taking matters into her own hands, Katrina climbs out of the window and operates the machine gun mounted on their vehicle, firing at their pursuer. This distracts their opponent, causing him to swerve off the tracks. Finally, Luke and Katrina win, followed by Big Bill, Kalen, Apache, Xander, and 14K. After the race, the Inmates pit crew immediately greets them. The imposing opponent barges towards Luke's station to start a fight, but the guards stop him. Meanwhile, Xander approaches 14K and claims that he'll die tomorrow, but the latter only makes fun of his bad breath. Just then, Katrina gets summoned back to her cell, and the driver is keen on seeing her again tomorrow. That night, the guards take Luke to the arena, where Wayland waits for him. The man states to the victor belongs the spoils, referencing the gladiators of ancient Rome. He then presents Katrina, whom he claims is the driver's prize. Confused, he asks who the man is, but Wayland only replies that he's Caesar. When they're finally alone, Luke and Katrina wonder if they truly have privacy. Despite that, they give in to their desires and copulate. Meanwhile, Jones and the chief torture one of the inmates to reveal the context of the $1 million prize Big Bill mentioned. The man reveals that Marcus put a bounty on Luke's head and everyone is after it. With this, Jones orders the chief to put Luke in solitary confinement because she still wants him to race. She reasons that everyone is free to kill him on the track, just not off camera. As the lady leaves, she's unaware that Goldberg overheard the entire conversation. Meanwhile, the chief shoots the inmate under Jones's orders. Elsewhere, Marcus strikes a deal with the prison guards, allowing him to speak with Katrina. He promises her freedom in exchange for killing Luke, but if she fails, it'll cost her her life. The following day, Warden Parks prepares to leave after Jones initiated his firing. Before the second race begins, Goldberg informs Luke about the bounty that Marcus put on his head. He chooses not to believe it and focuses on the race instead. When the race starts, Apache relentlessly shoots Luke's car, but he soon crashes when the driver unleashes a smoke bomb. Big Bill ultimately kills Apache when he crushes the inmate between his car and the spiky metal ramp. Meanwhile, Kalen shoots Luke's car, having the bounty in mind. However, the gifted driver devises a clever countermeasure that causes this opponent to crash into a wall. Then, Big Bill finishes Kalen off by shooting his car until it explodes. Concurrently, Xander attacks 14K, rendering him helpless with a busted car. Knowing that he's the triad leader, Luke crashes Xander's vehicle as he passes by, hoping that the gang leader will avenge him against Marcus. So, 14K finishes off his opponent by igniting the gasoline leading to his car. As the race continues, Katrina reveals her encounter with Marcus, but she makes it clear that she's not working for the crime boss. Just then, Big Bill shoots their car, so Luke signals the woman to activate the napalm. However, they discover that the car's been rigged, rendering all of its mechanism useless. Left with no choice, the driver ejects the navigator out of the car, allowing her to land safely with the parachute. As he continues the race on his own, Big Bill activates a heat-seeker missile, causing Luke's car to crash. As Big Bill proceeds toward the finish line, he kills his pit crew after accidentally firing a missile at them. His navigator yells at him for his mistake, but he only threatens her. As a result, she stabs him in the eye and pushes him out of the car. She then runs him over, crushing him to death. In a tragic turn of events, Luke's car is engulfed in flames, trapping him inside. Despite the rescue efforts of Katrina, 14K, and the pit crew, the fire intensifies and consumes him. Meanwhile, Marcus hears about Luke's death, and he expresses his fake sympathies. Back on the island, Goldberg screams at Rocco for rigging the car, as he's the only one who could have done it. Rocco never owns up to it, and he walks out while cursing Goldberg and lists. Elsewhere, Katrina pleads with 14K to help Luke, reminding him to honor the Triad Code. The leader reassures her that he knows what to do to pay back his debts to the deceased driver. Meanwhile, Luke gets taken to the prison hospital, and the doctor claims that he can survive. However, he needs better facilities, but Jones objects because he'll still be killed because of the bounty anyway. With this, she deprives Luke of medical attention, leading to his death. Days later, Jones presents the new warden to Wayland, an ambitious woman named Claire Hennessy. She also updates him about Death Race's transition to the internet and the participation of a new mysterious racer who goes by the name Frankenstein. However, it is soon revealed that Jones faked Luke's death, and he's actually Frankenstein. Although he initially refused to race again, he bows to her whim in fear of getting Katrina killed. Days later, Frankenstein finally makes his debut on Death Race. He still works with Katrina and the pit crew, but they're oblivious to his true identity. Meanwhile, the Triads assassinate Marcus under 14K's orders, while Lists also avenges Luke by killing Rocco in the shower. Jones meets the same fate, as Frankenstein runs her over with his car before starting the race. Although he remains silent about his identity, Katrina and the pit crew have a feeling Frankenstein and Luke are the same person.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.